Hello friends, welcome to my channel Take Talk. Today we are going to discuss part 5 class binding. Before proceed to this video, please watch the fourth part property binding. I will share the link in description box. So let's start. What is class binding in Angular? Class binding is used to add CSS classes to HTML element or remove classes from the HTML elements. We can add CSS classes conditionally to an element. To perform class binding, syntax is define the class attribute in square bracket and assign the component property to it. In component, you will declare the component property, which is string property, and assign the CSS class name to it. Adding multiple CSS classes. We can add multiple CSS classes by using the class binding. How? You have to define class attribute in square bracket, then equal to prepare array and specify your class names separated by comma. Or other way, you can write double quote, single quote, specify the class name separated by space, close the single quote and double quote. To work with class binding, first you have to create property in app.component.ts file and then assign CSS class name to it. Then set the class of the HTML element by assigning the property value in app.component.html. Let's move to practical part. Here I have created Angular application and in CSS file I have added some CSS. So for a class binding, here I'm going to create h1 tag which will print tech talks. To perform class binding, here I will define class attribute in square bracket. Before this, you have to create one property. So I will name it public txt read equal to txt dash read. This txt read is my CSS class name, okay, which we have defined here, this one. So let's copy it, save it, go to the HTML and in class attribute equal to, you can paste this property. Let's save it, go to the browser. You can see tech talks in red color. Now consider if you want to assign multiple CSS classes using the class binding. So for this, I will create here another property, public txt style, sorry, and equal to, I'm going to assign txt style to it. This is also txt style, this is also my CSS class name. Let's copy this, go to HTML, add another h1 tag, which will print tech talks. Here I'm going to add class attribute in square bracket, and here we are going to assign multiple classes. So I will prepare array here. So first class txt read separated by comma, second class. Let's save it. Go to the browser. You can see tech talks gets printed in red color and font family gets added. Because this is in txt style, I have added font family. Okay, we can perform class binding without using this component properties. Okay, so how? Here I will add h1 tag, tech talks in class attribute equal to, here I'm going to add direct CSS class here. So in single quote, I will add txt green. Okay, let's save it. Go to the browser. You can see tech talks in green color. Let's consider the same scenario and want to assign multiple classes. Okay, so here we will add only space and specify the other class name, that is txt upper. Let's save it. Go to the browser. You can see tech talk gets printed in green and it is gets printed in uppercase. Okay, so another way, we can assign class binding by calling the function using the class binding. Okay, so to demonstrate this, I'm going to create one function here, get CSS class, and this function will return CSS class name. Okay, this is txt lower is my CSS class name. Let's save it. Go to the browser. Add another h1 TikToks right here, class attribute, and just call this function. Okay, save it. It will render TikToks in lowercase. Okay. So next is we will assign the CSS class using some condition. For this, in component, I will create one one method has error, and it will return true or false. So initially I will return true from this. Go to the HTML. So here I'm going to demonstrate to you how we apply CSS conditionally. Okay. For this, we'll add class attribute. I will define the function name which I have added into app.component.ts file. If this function returns true, then I will I will apply txt red class. Else, I will apply txt green class. Okay, let's save it. Go to the browser. You can see TikTok gets printed in red color because this has error function returns the true. If I returns false from here, then you can see TikToks in green color. Yeah, here we go. Another, we can perform class binding with class. So how? Add tag here, docs, and in class attribute dot I will specify my CSS class name, suppose txt red. Okay, equal to, I'm assign property. This property is boolean property. So I'm going to create it into app.component.ts. Public is red. Initially I will assign it to true. Let's save all. Go to the browser. You can see TikTok gets printed into red color. Okay. Class binding will perform using class. Alternate option, you can use the class name instead of class. So just put class name here. So let's save it. Go to the browser. You can see TikTok gets printed into red color. Another way, instead of class name, you can use the ng class. Okay, how? This class name will be replaced by ng class, and here I will add a bracket, curly bracket, in which in single quote I will specify CSS class name here, txt green, and I will set it to true. Then another class, txt upper, I will set it to also true. Let's save it. Go to the browser. You can see TikTok gets printed into green color and in uppercase. If I set txt green to false, then this class won't be applied to this h1. Let's save it. Only you can see TikTok get printed into uppercase. Okay. So that's all from this video. If you have any question or concern, please contact me via this email or comment on this video. I will get back to you. Thank you. Happy learning.